Hi, my name's Josh Newman and you join me today at Wold Farm Fisheries in Northamptonshire, where I'm going to show you how to catch some commercial silvers on the pole. My bottom rig for my shallow line. I'm going to look to start on this rig after I put a little bit of bait in, just throwing casters over the top. So this is a sensas light elastic, once again 015 main line, a Chianti 4x14s, and then strung out shot. Once again number 9's quite heavy, so it gets down to the bottom. Number 9s to, once again, 6 inches of 0.9 to a 20 F1 maggot hook. My rig for fishing through the water is a 4x12 Chianti, once again nice light elastic, again 015 main line, but this time strung number 11s from the bottom of the float to the top of a 6-inch hook length once again. Again 0.9 to a size 20 F1 maggot. This is just for when I feel the fish are coming off the bottom at the start of the session, before I go on to my next rig, which is a 4 slip, because on this shallow rig, you know, I'm fishing anywhere from 1.5 foot to 6 inches deep, and I don't want the fish to splash on the surface when I hook them. This is 0.13 main line, going down to a barra deep shallow, 0.1, to 4 number 9 shot, which throughout the day hopefully I'll shirt button or bulk down, just depending on how the fish is going. And then I'm going to start on a 6-inch and see how things are going, because I know there's a few roach in here and I know that they like to watch a bait full, but I might go down to a 3-inch if the fishing's good. And on there is a 18 F1 maggot, where I'll be fishing single caster, single maggot, or head of a worm if the fishing gets good and I need to use a bait several times. And that's it. So the main bait I'm going to be using today is casters. I brought about 4 pints with me and I'm hoping to get through them. I know they've been catching a lot of hemp roach on here recently, so I have brought some with me along with some tares. So I've got hemp and tares there. If the fishing's good, I'll start throwing these in and using them, but I know that yesterday the fishing wasn't great on here, so I started with the casters just because it catches you a bit of everything. For my long line, I've got worms, which, you know, I can chop up, or I can fish a whole worm on the hook itself. I've got a mixture of maggots. I've got some fluoros in there as well. They're proper bright, and then obviously your red maggots. That's just because I know the water in here is quite coloured, so by fishing like a big pink fluoro on the hook can really stand out against the water. I've got some darkened off casters just for the hook, so it's a standout bait. The same thing as the maggots really, just standing out from the casters, making a dark silhouette as the fish are looking up. And then finally, we've got the ground bait today. As I mentioned earlier, Dax gave us special permission to use the lake ground bait, the fish meal one, just because it sees a lot of pellets this venue. So rather than using the natural version, I chose the fish meal. I've mixed it quite wet because I want to be feeding it loose. So I mixed it quite wet so it goes straight to the bottom, it's heavy. And in there is just casters, dead maggots. Hopefully I can catch skimmers, maybe the odd barbel over the top of this. let's see how the session goes. So I'm feeding it loose like that. As you can see, there's a few casters in it, a few dead maggots, a few grains of hemp. I'm not putting chopworm in every cast, as I feel it can overfeed the fish, but just whenever I feel it needs it, when my indications dry up or if I stop catching fish. So like I said, holding it when I'm cupping in, lining it on far back marker, which is a tree on the island, and just tipping it in close to the water. The loose ground bait falls out in a column and spreads out, rather than just going down in a straight thing like a ball would, and it creates an area on the bottom for the fish to eat over. Just try to switching between worm and dead maggots been best today, just depending on what fish are in your peg. Like earlier I had a barbel on a worm, but then I've gone in again with a worm and not had a bite, so I put 2 maggots on and caught a little skimmer, and just making changes like that. Holding your rig out the water, so your line and shot can straighten up, and slowly lower it in. That way you avoid tangles and the bait's presented nicer on the bottom. There we go. It could be a barbel. Barbel or a tench. Typical barbel trying to do you in the keep net. I'd done earlier about £3 on this long line. Still on quite light stuff because I wanted to catch skimmers on this line as well. So I'm on 8 hollow, same as on the deep shallow rig, but this is just a bit beefed up, a bit more tight. And then instead of an 09 bottom, I'm on an 010 bottom on this rig. Right, so I've been fishing about an hour and a half now, and the caster line's still producing the odd fish. It's got a bit harder, to be honest, but I've caught barbel, crucians, roach, skimmers. It's been a real nice day, but the sun's just gone in, to be honest. It came out for about 20 minutes and it's just gone in and it's got harder. You're having to really just hold the rig tight and look for every little dink. Before they're sort of hooking themselves because of they have the confidence of the sun. There's also a bit of a ripple. Now they've both been taken away, I'm still catching, but they're just not as confident as what they were. You know, like small crucians, odd roach, bit of everything really. Still feeding 7 to 8 casters, kept that the same most of the day, and still fishing at 6 sections at the minute. I did try pushing out not that long ago, just at half a section, and the fish were really small, so I've come back onto my main line and just changing things, shotting patterns. I think at the start I said that I was fishing with a bulk, and I've actually strung my rig out now to just prolong the fall of the bait through the water, hoping that something takes it. Slapping the rig 3 times, holding on to it and just looking for any little dinks and indications. Just missed one then. Probably going to shallow this rig up in a minute. I'm missing a few bites at the minute. Just yeah. Shallow the rig up, and I reckon I'm going to bolt the shot back down, just because I'm missing a few funny little bites, which I reckon could be them little crucians. I'm feeding roughly 7 to 8 casters every 15 to 30 seconds, and it's been a fish most trucks, to be fair, just varying depths and shotting patterns. And I found at the minute the best way of catching them is a bulk and just holding it tight and fishing about 1.5 foot deep. And I'm catching crucians, roach, a bit of everything really. Oh, bump one there. But they're coming up, so because the weather's very temperamental today, it's going from hot to cold to even raining at some points. You know, it's not been great for fishing, and so you're just really having to work your peg and just seeing what's happening. So like, I started off on the bottom and was missing a few bites, so I quickly came up in the water, and it was much better. Started off at about 2.5 foot on a shanty style rig, strung out shot. Had a few there, but it weren't, I felt as if I could catch quicker up in the water, further up in the water, sorry. So I've gone on to this Andy Wootton Barra Deep Shallow Float, the 0.1, and I'm catching the fish most trucks, to be fair. Roach, crucians, bad roach up to 12 ounce today. But fish like that, you know, want a chuck pretty much. On the hook I'm fishing either a caster or a fluoro red maggot. it just stands out. The water here is very coloured due to it being a clay bottom. So it's a standout bait over the casters that I'm feeding. And the fish are just picking it out a bit better. Elastic on this rig's a 4. It's perfect really. It absorbs all the fish you're catching. You know, I'm catching fish from 3 ounce right the way up to a pound, and it's perfect for that. Especially there's no carp in this moat lake at Wold Farm, so you can get away with fishing a nice light rig, 09 bottom and a size 20 hook. The size of the fishes has changed throughout the day. They started off quite small, but they got a bit bigger now. Roach and crucians. Fishing at 6 sections of my pole, and it's about 4 foot deep, I'd say. So you can draw the fish up, and it's been fantastic. It's not been as good as we thought it would be due to the weather, but I've still had a bite of chuck for most of the day. And I've also fed a long skimmer line. We'll go on that later. I've just fed it with 4 cups of sensas lake fish meal, which Dax has kindly allowed today, but usually it's a fishery only ground bait and pellet venue. But just for the purpose of the video and to show how I attack other venues, Dax has kindly let us use it. As you can see, we've had a fantastic day at Wold Farm Fisheries. £56.12 I think they went. Skimmers, big roach, crucians, tench, barbel bream. We've had a bit of everything, to be honest. I wasn't expecting much, to be honest, this morning when I heard the match was on £20 yesterday, but it's been fantastic. A bite pretty much every drop in. This is the long line net, a few barbels, skimmers, then this is the shallow line, roach, crucians, tench. Thanks to Andy and Fishing Info for coming out today, and Wold Farm Fisheries. Thanks a lot.